My name is Vanessa Montañez, and I am actually a mortgage lender. I've been in the business for 25 years, and I work at U.S. Bank working on the affordable lending and diverse segments for the West region. I cover 12 states, and I've been in this space for a long time. Lending and real estate is really my passion, and the Arcadia Board of Realtors actually knows how to do this very well. I belong to the Arcadia Board of Realtors. I enjoy going to their classes because they have state-of-the-art classes, members, and also really great value adds as a member. With that being said, I'm really excited to talk about my favorite subject today, the state of women's homeownership, which is definitely something that is very near and dear to my heart because one, I am a woman, two, I love homeownership, and three, I really like to educate others and empower and enrich you to really have some tools to help build your business, especially now. So believe it or not, this idea came from last year with Stephanie and I, and we were gonna do this, I wanna say in February. Actually, no, it was in March. The class was in March, and then boom, COVID hit. The pandemic hit, so we kept delaying it, and now we're in this virtual space, which is great because now we can record this, we can see this on their website, so you can get more information. This presentation will be available on the website, so you need to be a member of the Arcadia Board of Realtors to get a little bit of insights. All the information I will be sharing, all the resources and the references are at the end, and we're going to keep this really informal, ladies and gentlemen. So as we go, if something doesn't make sense or you're curious of a little bit more information, I will definitely make it interactive. So please feel free to share and to ask questions in the chat box. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and get started. Let's see if this is gonna, I have multiple screens here, team. Okay, awesome. So I am part of the NAWRB. NAWRB is Women in the Housing Real Estate Ecosystem. It's the leading voice of specializing of housing industry. This is a trade organization that specializes in women. So it's women in the housing and real estate ecosystem. That's what it means. That's their mission. It started in 2009. So now it's already over 11 years old. They just celebrated their 10-year anniversary last year by Desiree Patno. And what we want to do is increase women's homeownership, and we can leverage the entrepreneurial spirit, strength, and women to help bring awareness. And we do that by raising gender equality, raising the utilization of women-owned businesses, which we'll get into in a little bit. But really, there are a lot of women out there. Women are outpacing men in the population across the US. So this is really important that we figure out this amazing demographic. So that we're going to talk about women and where we are now as a landscape, right? So there's 166 million women in the United States compared to 161.1 million men. So women are outpacing men. We are outliving men. So we're about 51% of the population. So that definitely gives us a leg up. We are the majority. Our purchasing power, good Lord, women love to spend. We are the decision makers. We spend about $20 trillion in the US economy alone. So that's a lot of purchasing power. So definitely pay attention to that. Now, just let's look at the reality. If we go shopping, let's just say hypothetically to a store, Macy's, just one example, those that are around Macy's, where are you going to find more things, on the women's side or the men's side? Probably on the women's side, because guess what? Women love to purchase, and we have that purchasing power. And according to the Department of Labor, majority of the women do work. 69.3% from the ages of 25 to 49 are women. They're career women like us. We are working, we're out there. Few of us are not working. And right now with the pandemic, it really has impacted the women. So women are working a little bit less, those that have smaller children or larger households. So the COVID has impacted women for sure. But here's the interesting thing. We are really creative, and we're starting more businesses, 1.5 times more than a man. And we're willing to go out there. And so women-owned businesses growing and growing. And it was like a 27.5% increase from 2007 to 2012. And those numbers by far are still going. Now you might be asking, why are these statistics on the older side? Well, this is what comes up. Some departments do every 5 years, 10 years. So depending on when the stats come up, that's when I get those data and share it with everyone. So between 1970 and 2010, look at the level of engineers that increased, 977. That is huge. So women are going to school. That we are outpacing men in all levels of education, whether it's associates, bachelor's, master's, postgraduate, PhDs, doctorates, you name it, women are outpacing men over 55% in most categories of education. So that's really important. And then in 2020 to 2015, women were out earning men by $30,000. We had an increase in household. But now women, we're outpacing majority of women, not majority, 40% of the women are making more money than their spouses. So that's really interesting. So I think it's a combination of women joining the workforce, women getting more educated. There's room to grow for gender parity. However, because we're more educated, we're asking for more money. And most of us are making, some of us are making more money than our spouses, our husbands. And then, like I said, 55.2% women are all going to college. So that's a lot of information, I know, but this only shows that trend and why it's important to us who are realtors, who are lenders, to know the purchasing power of women, and also more things when you're looking at an open house. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But here's the interesting thing. Women are more likely to stay at home as opposed to men, which is true. Women are the nurturers. They take care of the home, the household, shelter, home, food. So women still have that culturally. In most cultures, women are still the primary caretaker for their house. So that has not changed. And this is global. This is around the world. The majority of women do take care of the household, the children, and their nurturers overall. So here's one thing I did not like. 88% of women who are small business owners don't normally raise that threshold of $100,000 in taxes. They don't report that they make more than that. That has got to change. And I'm sure by getting more education, by getting more training. One thing I will mention, SBA, every city has normally a small business administration. They have really great tools to do business planning, to help you with SBA loans, to help bring a proposal. So if you're inkling of doing a small business, look at those resources that are free out there. There's a lot of resources, and God knows the computer is another one, the internet. So we could definitely double check. But SBA and PACE are two programs that I know that are really well for those women who are thinking of being self-employed. Start with a plan in place and put it in writing. Alrighty, so 2014 Senate committee reports discloses that women only receive 16% of small business loans. We don't ask for money. Women don't really want to get into debt. So what happens, we have a savings, we have a home equity line, we have our credit cards, and our friends and family that we ask for that crowdfunding. So women are more likely to get up there and do their own business by themselves without asking for traditional financing. So that's something that was really interesting. Ernst & Young and Babson College reveal that only 2% of women-owned businesses make over $1 million. Now that has got to change. We need that percentage to be way higher, because with the accountability and the amazing talent of women that are outpacing men with education, I'm sure this trend will change and we will be making more than $1 million a year. And then 91% of all the women-owned business have no employees other than themselves or part-time staff. So guess what? That's another thing. We are handling it all. Sometimes we have to delegate. I would say delegate or outsource some of your work. We cannot do it all. And that's probably, that will limit us to make more than 100,000. So if you're thinking of being your own boss, have a plan in place, and then work with your SBA or PACE or an organization that you belong to help you with those tools. So here's where it comes to gender parity and pay. We do have a gap. we are still making 82 cents to the dollar to what a man makes, which is a no-no. And here in California, because we are in San Gabriel Valley and this is California, I do want to talk about it's better. We're making about 89 cents to what the man makes, what a man makes. The gap is even larger when it's a woman of color. So when it's an African American woman, they're making 60 cents to the dollar. When it's a Latina like myself, I'm making less money, 41 cents on the dollar. And then when you're Asian American, AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islander, you're making 80 cents to a white male. So we still have gender parity out there, ladies, and that has got to change. And I do see it evolving. Before it was way lower, and year over year, the trends are moving upward, which is great news. What's interesting in real estate, though, because this is more of a real estate industry, women are actually about the same level of pay because commissions don't really vary from one company to another. So if it's 6%, 3%, 2%, it's very in line. So I see more, I see that the balance is really equal when it comes to real estate, which is great news. So that's a good trend for the realtors on the call today. So 80% of all the spending is geared to women because we are making the purchasing power. What's interesting, I've read several articles, and when it comes to homeownership, 90% of the decision of where to buy and the house is made to the woman. So if it's a married household, a single household, an extended family, generational family, the woman, the matriarchy, is the one who decides, yes, this is the right house for us, it's functional, I like the area, I like the school district. So for those realtors on the call viewing this, make sure that you really embrace and get the voice of the female of that family that you're working with or that individual, because the decision power and most of the decisions are made with the woman in mind. Not all the time, but that's the majority. Most senior levels we see women shift from line to staff roles, so very few end up becoming CEO. This is true. Anywhere between 5 to 6% of the chief executive levels within most organizations are women, and that number has got to change. So we want to make sure that we're more inclusive and we're embracing more women in every sector. But the most important part here is the homeownership piece, because this is where I think it's going to really be an advantage to everyone on this call, because we all deal with homeownership, particularly here in the San Gabriel Valley. We have a shortage, sale prices are increasing, and right now it's a great time to sell and to buy because we have a historical low all-time interest rates. I'm saying historical, and I've been in this business 25 years, so I can say that the rates are at the all-time lowest and still a great buy. It's a great time to buy and to sell, even with a pandemic. Who knew this was going to happen this year, 2020? I swear it's been a roller coaster, but it has some ups and downs. But right now, the up is that rates are low and people still want to buy and still want to sell. And we're going to be focusing on women because, again, the purchasing power. So for the last 30 years, the National Association of Realtors have realized that women are outpacing men purchasing year over year, which who knew that was even possible? In 2014, the U.S. Census Bureau said there were still 18 million single female out there that are households. And this is what's interesting. In 2014, out of the 18 million, 10 million live alone. And then the rest, 6.7 live with relatives, extended family, without having a husband involved, and 1.3 live with roommates, whether it's a friend, a colleague. Roommate is the way to go too. So you can always think of, I could buy a house and rent out a room to make the payment. So this is just really good information as a realtor to know out of this 18 million, most prefer to live alone. And here's a really great fact. In 2017, the National Association did a profile of the home buyer and seller. 18% of all the home buyers in 2016 was a female. Now that is astounding because the single men were only 7%. So women, this is really critical. We are outpacing single men by 2.5 times. So when you see somebody come into your open house or give you a call who is a female, you better get that number, you better get their data, because that is a possible buyer in your coming to you. Definitely, you want to cater to that segment, to women. And also between 2015 and 16, the median households for single females increased 7.2%. So again, we're outpacing, we're buying homes, and also 26.6% of families with single households have no husband present. Maybe it's because women are getting delayed into getting married. Maybe because women are going to school and taking their time to find their soulmate. So because women are a little different from before, we're now getting settled in our careers, getting our education, so that delays the time to mate and to find a potential Mr. Right or your significant other. So more interesting things living with their families. 36.4% between the ages of 18 and 34 were still living with their families. And the figure was very similar to 1940. So what does that mean? Well, again, we're living with parents longer, we're saving our money, we're going to school, and we're working on our careers before we make that commitment of buying somewhere else. And here's the different age groups that they had in 2014. So between 18 and 24, it was 56%, and that's really critical because most of them are students. From 25 to 29, it was 28%. Well, it could be graduate students and now they're in their careers. And then 30 to 34%, again, maybe delayed education and they're in their careers and saving money to buy a house. So 30% of young women in 2014 were likely to be married compared to 62% in the 1940s. Yeah, that's crazy. So back in 1940, the majority of young ladies were already married. That's not the case now. It's quite the opposite. Only 30% of young ladies are married. So again, these are changing times. We have to think about when we're selling that house or buying that house, that women is definitely a possible client. Okay, I'm going to stop talking now. Are there any questions in the chat room? Miss Stephanie, anything that you found very interesting, ladies, on the call? Because I do see Sylvia, Carmen, Jane, and Hiba on the call. So thank you for joining us. Okay, so here's what we're going to talk about, some opportunities when you're doing an open house. So typically, and these I got like from different articles, what is it when you're doing an open house to cater to the female? Well, we want a house that has a lot of light, a lot of windows, great space and energy. We want music playing in the background, so have some nice music as somebody comes in, and it's that warm, inviting. Candles. Also, I've known that there are some other realtors that get really creative and bake in the house with some cookies. That is really good. That's smart thinking. So if you have a nice ambiance, candles, cookie smell from baking chocolate chip cookies or oatmeal cookies, whatever kind of cookies, that is really smart marketing, because the smell, I swear there's something about cookie smell that brings and invites people in, individuals. And then light and airy. We want to make sure that the house is not dark, that the windows are open, and that the curtains are open so people see all that wonderful light in the room. Of course, we all want that wonderful kitchen, the chef's kitchen, with that beautiful fountain, the island, right? The marble, the Italian marble, great cabinetry. Most prefer lighter colors and darker colors, but the kitchen is one of the main focal points because it really brings in the family together, and a lot of the cooking we'll be doing will be there. We want that zen, magical, relaxing bathroom. Most women prefer baths and showers, so if you have a combo, amazing. If there's two bathrooms, hopefully one will have a nice, engaging bathtub. So those are little information that's pretty interesting. You're like, really? I'm like, yes. A lot of women want to unwind. They want that Calgon moment. Take me away. So bath, I would say, is really important. Also, safety and security. They want to have that. So if it has cameras, that's wonderful. But nowadays we can do different type of cameras with the Ring, with ADP. But this is where it's really great, ladies, realtors in the room, to connect with your title officers or title reps. They have really great information on the neighborhood, on crime rate. You can also do that with the local police. But you want to find out what's happening in this neighborhood because women want to feel safe. They want to know what it's like during the day, the weekend, at night, their neighborhood. So as a single female, you would want to live in an area that you felt safe and that your neighbors looked nice and that everything was safe. So that's really a concern. So if I would be doing a listing agent, listing, I would definitely bring in the safety features of that home, or to a buyer to know we have a relatively low crime rate. Also, the school. How are the schools like? Because eventually, if they don't have children, if they do plan to have children, they want to know, is it blue ribbon? How are the schools here? What is the rating? Also, people want that right location, the walkability. Believe it or not, some women want to be close to where they're going. Is it walkable? Are there restaurants here? Are there markets? Are my amenities here? My gym here? Um, the grocery store. Is there a Trader Joe's? I mean, things that are important, they're going to let you know. So amenities are definitely important. The right location. It's true. Location, location, location. And I know that for a fact. So the school district, everyone knows that, but it's you have to dig a little deeper. So it's the school district, is it safe, the walkability, the amenities, what do you have there? What restaurants do you recommend? So if you're going to be marketing or farming a certain area, be the subject matter expert of that area. If it's Arcadia, which I know has excellent school, find out where the parks are, where are the schools, where are the great restaurants, what is known in Arcadia, where are there trails to walk, exercise. So it all depends on what are the needs of your client. Then based on the needs of your client, you will let them know that you are the subject matter expert. Because if your client is super healthy and they love trails and, oh my God, we have amazing trails here in the foothills. So just get that data and be the SME, be the subject matter expert for your clients. Also, they want a house where it's great to socialize. Is it an open concept? Can people walk from the living room to dining room to the kitchen? Because we want to have a small intimate gathering or a gathering with friends and family, and we want to make sure that it's a space that's sufficient enough to host maybe a group of 10 inside or outside. So again, you are the expert, you know what they want, but most generally women want this. Of course, we want the big walk-in closet for those that are shoppers in the call and those that know that women are definitely the decision makers when they're buying their clothes and their shoes and their extra stuff that they need. A walk-in closet, if that house has it, oh my Lord, that is really great news. Or maybe it's a 3-bedroom, small 1-bedroom that can be a walk-in closet. So you have to talk about that. Because for those that do Instagram and see sometimes these amazing walk-in closets, yes, we all want one. The majority of us do. So walk-in closets are important. Believe it or not, a 2-car garage. Why? Because on one side will be the car that will go in, attached or detached, as long as there is a 2-car garage. And on the other side, it serves as storage. Because God knows we need storage to sometimes put extra clothing away, extra books, furniture, tchotchkes that we buy, or shoes. I know one of my friends has actually a storage room where she puts a lot of her clothing in there based on the seasons and her shoes. Not everyone can do this, but that's amazing. Then I know other people that have multiple closets in their household where the wife or the main person has a lot of their clothing in different closets. In my case, I do the same. So I have my closet, and then I have the closet at the entrance where it has all our coats in there because I don't have room for my coats. So yes, closets are really important. The bigger, the better for women looking at a home. And then a convenient laundry room. We normally want it on the same level of where the household is. So if it's a single family residence, single story, we want that laundry room inside the house, making it convenient, not inconvenient in the basement or outside. And if it's a two-story home and the master bedroom is upstairs, then we would prefer that convenient laundry room upstairs. So these are things that you're going to be looking for, is convenient amenities, and know the house and know your stats. So as you're presenting to a single buyer who is female, you're able to talk her language and find out a little bit of what she likes. So if she's an outdoorsman, again, talk about the foothills, the trails, the walking, the running, different things that are in the area. So these are common things, but you start thinking, I'm like, oh, really? Start catering to females and you will see your business increase in no time. So here are top markets that you would consider. So for single females, this is according to US Bank today. These were all the home values where female crime rate, you see dinner for two, and walkability and public transport. Oh, that's something I did not say about public transport. So if there's the metro line, if there's buses, if there's amenities, we want to know. So here are the top markets for single women. We had Cincinnati, Kansas City, Dallas, Albany, New York, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Hartford, Minneapolis, Raleigh, Durham, Chicago. Those are the top 10. And Los Angeles was ranked number 19. We still are in the top 20. But if I were you, Miss Realtor, Mr. Realtor, I would start looking at, do I have a book of business and do I have my referral partners, my referral agents in all these other areas? So let's say you have a seller who now wants to live somewhere else, and that would be something that I would want that referral and send it out to somebody in Cincinnati, for example, just to grow your book of business and to be knowing that where women are more likely to purchase and buy. Sacramento here in California is definitely beautiful, a lot more affordable than Los Angeles, and a lot of outdoor space, great restaurants. So there's a lot of areas in here that some of us have traveled to that you see that, oh yeah, that makes total sense. The average sale price is X. They have so many days on inventory. So it makes sense. And then they have also employment. They have job opportunities. So we're going to go where there are jobs, affordability, safety, walkability, and all the other factors that come into buying a home elsewhere. Or family. We might be actually from Cincinnati, and now we want to go back to Cincinnati. So here's a little bit more stats about living single. Single men and women aren't letting their relationship status prevent them from becoming homeowners. You saw that with NAWRB. But how did men and women differ? So here was the first-time home buyers for single. And this is according to NAWRB. And 17% of all single females were buying homes compared to 7% men. First-time home buyers, 18% was a little bit higher, and male. So why is this important for this class? Realize there are power in the numbers. 2.5 times more women are more likely to buy their house than the male. So that is really important as you're doing that open house, as you're targeting and farming out and doing mailers. Start looking as a female for a buyer and a seller. Here's the average age. Median age is 50. That's high up there. Well, by then they've already had a sufficient down payment, they have established careers, and they're ready to make that plunge and buy their first home. So you're dealing with an older, sophisticated, hardworking career woman. And for men, it's 47. And so those are some things to consider how you can target. And these numbers came from NAWRB. And here's the average medium home price, $173,000. You're like, Vanessa, that's not realistic in Arcadia and San Gabriel Valley. No, but again, we have a higher cost living, so our salaries are going to be higher than the national average. And then you could start looking at a smaller single family residence, at a condo, townhouse, and other opportunities. Another thing to consider, it may not be the targeted area of Arcadia, but we might go outward to look at Riverside or San Bernardino County, or the outskirts on some areas of LA County. So start thinking of a strategy. That's why transportation is critical. Depend where they're working at. So you might have to farm a little bit further. You might have to look a little bit further because of the affordability for your client, and just ask them. Is it okay for you to commute half an hour? What's the maximum that you're comfortable with commuting? And traffic time, because that is critical as well, and the wear and tear of a car. So those are the women top markets. And now, what are the next steps? So here's what I want you to walk away with from today's class. 18% of all the homeowners out there, according to NAWRB, are female, compared to 7% men. That's why this class was important, to know that women are 2.5 times more likely to buy a house. And now, for you, you need to target the women. If you're not already putting that into your business plan, definitely start looking and targeting for women. You need to use your social media to promote yourself as a subject matter expert, that you are ready to work with women. You want to have testimonials out there on your website, on your page. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, your Facebook page, your Facebook group, let them know that you are a powerhouse when it comes to working with women. One, because you are a woman, or one, because you are a woman supporter. If you're male or female, you need to consider working with women as the smart way to keep in business. Get data and become the expert in that area. Share your resources. There's a lot of realtors that are really creative out there with knowing who their local restaurants are, the business owners, information where to do dry cleaning, information. This is your market and you need to be there. I know one realtor, he did a fabulous job in Whittier, and he puts himself all the time on Instagram, more Facebook, on his page, and he's getting interviews with the restaurant owners. He's showing what's happening in Uptown Whittier, how people are socializing now with COVID, but everyone is safe. And he really promotes his city of Whittier. He's well embedded within the community, within the politicians out there. And so he is a subject matter expert, and he builds that community. So he has market share in his area because he also goes the extra step and does interviews. And he also provides a guide and a template to his new buyers and sellers of the city of Whittier, like how many parks they have, these are the schools, these are the events that they do. And this is his community, but you see him walk the walk and talk the talk, literally, because he's on Facebook and he's doing interviews. And he'll just take a video of what's happening Friday night or Saturday night. But I could tell you, he's thinking outside the box and he's making a name for himself as committed. I highly foresee him running for city council one day, and I would definitely vote for him if I lived in Whittier. But these are just things that you can do outside the box. Also, if you have a specific demographic, let's say you want to go ahead and cater and do everything in Spanish or in Chinese or Mandarin, I say do it. Be a subject matter expert in your community, in your culture, in your language, but be known out there. Do interviews. Interview maybe one of your clients. What was the thing that, how did you become a homeowner? What was that experience like? So use definitely social media. I would say it is definitely a must. Become a member of the Arcadia Board of Realtors and NAWRB. Promote yourself. Belong to a trade organization that specializes in women or specializes in what you're going to be looking at. There's a lot of resources out there. There's a lot of way to grow your social capital, and I would say become a member. Now you might be a virtual member because we're not really integrating face-to-face, but there's so many different opportunities out there for you to grow your business socially and through networking, especially now with the pandemic. So if you're not on LinkedIn, you need to be on LinkedIn. You need to be on Meetup. You need to go to Eventbrite to look at what other events are happening in your area and specialize in what you do. So there's a lot of resources out there that are free and available on the internet. Market to professional women. Wouldn't that be amazing if you did a marketing launch to professional women? Maybe it might be a women's organization that there has a lot of members. Maybe it's the nursing association, the doctors association, CPAs, whatever that is. You want to market to professional women and be out there and known as a subject matter expert. I know one of my friends, she is in the Irvine, Anaheim Hills area, and her husband is a police officer. She is well known in that community with police officers because she was able to take her niche and really grow her business through her church and her husband's business as a police officer. So she has a really great niche within her church and then also with him through the sheriff's department. So she's well known in her community and she has that marketing. So it's just thinking outside the box of what is that going to be for you? How are you going to cater to women? Is there an organization that you want to belong to that you can then tap into to get more referral business? So those are things that I would consider. Again, we talked about open houses. What are you going to do with an open house? Well, make sure the ambiance is there, right? You're going to bake cookies or you're going to have an amazing candle smell. Open up those windows, have that light come in. Talk about the information of what's in the area. People are going to want to know the walkability, the safety. When you do that open house, really take that extra step and put yourself out there as a subject matter expert. I know there are other homes that I've gone to brokers open. Oh my God, they even have like a fruit platter. Well, those days are a little bit different. But now you're going to be doing the virtual open house tours. So I know the virtual open house tours work. I'm also seeing a lot of great feedback with my realtors out there that they're actually taking their own camera and doing a video, and they're getting better and better. So if the first time you're not doing it that well, it's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay to be funny. Just be you and start recording the house and what you love about it, what's interesting about it, and what makes this house unique. So first do a walkthrough and figure out how you're going to do the camera, but go to every room. So now you're doing your own virtual open house and uploading it up to your website, uploading it up to your page, your Facebook page, your Instagram, whatever social media outlets are out there, your LinkedIn. You want to share that home because now people are going to be really curious. Beyond taking amazing pictures, they want video. They want to see it. If they're not there in person with appointment, the next best thing is video, just like we're doing today. Here's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. Do workshops. Now we're going to be doing workshops virtually. When we get back to normal, do workshops that are for women and families. Believe it or not, this I know for a fact. When women want to get families, people that are going to buy their first home, they do first-time home buying seminars. They go to different nonprofits to get their certification, to get their 8-hour class that they did, a first-time home buying class. The majority, 80% of all the attendees are women. Even if they're single, they're married, it's not the husbands going to class, it's the females. So again, it's really important that you're catering to women. Women are more likely to take the class, go see the open house, they're going to go venture out, they're going to look for your reviews, they're going to look for you on the internet and do their due diligence more so than the males. That's in general. So this is why it's really important that you do financial workshops. If you're going to be doing workshops in person, please cater to families because some of these ladies have children. So you want to have a separate space with somebody helping them with the kids. Bring coloring bricks, bring a blank sheet of paper, something to entertain the children while the mom is getting information, getting educated. The children need to be entertained and you want to make it a warm and welcoming atmosphere for both mom and the children because sometimes they're not able to make it to your workshops because they don't have babysitting. Say it's family friendly, children are welcome, and the likelihood that you'll have a higher turnout is even better. So that's why it's critical when you're doing these workshops, think of family, extended family. Sometimes they'll bring their mom with them, and that's okay. So cater to all, make sure that you have a warm and inviting room and a place that they can ask questions. There's no such thing as asking a bad question because I promise you somebody else is probably thinking it too. Also, really important with being a realtor and a lender, definitely join the Women's Board of Realtors, the WCR for Arcadia Board of Realtors, or any of the boards that you belong to. There is amazing synergy, great classes that cater to women, and I love that about the Board of Realtors. They have an own segment for WCR, and so that's why it's critical that you be a member, engage, enrich yourself, and start getting more knowledge. Knowledge is power. So those are my definitely these are my things that I want to give you some tools, some recommendations on how to grow your business. So again, join your board and be a member to the Women's Council of Realtors. These were all my wonderful resources and reference that I used today. This PowerPoint presentation will be available to those that are members. And I really thank you for spending your morning with me. We ended up a little early, so I'm going to open it up to Q&A. And anything else, here's my information. Again, my name is Vanessa Montañez. This is my cell phone number and my email, how you can get a hold of me. I do work at US Bank, and I want to thank you on behalf of NAWRB and US Bank for spending the morning with me here on Monday, the first Monday in October. Good Lord, how time flies. Anyway, Stephanie, I'm done with my presentation, but I want to hear from the audience with questions or comments, and from you too, Stephanie. So I'm going to open it back up. I'll put myself on mute, and then we can go through the chat, or we can go through some Q&A. Ladies, any questions or comments that you'd like to share? Most of you are on mute, so if you could just unmute yourself, that would be fantastic. I'd love to hear from you. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Okay. Anybody?
This is Stephanie. I don't have any questions that came in on the chat box at all, so I wanted to let you know that.
Any questions or comments or aha moments? Like, oh, this makes sense, or...
Vanessa, I have a question. This is Stephanie Southwick.
Hi, Stephanie. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, can you talk about COVID and what's your expert guess or opinion of the future with regards to some of these statistics that you pointed out? Do you think things are going to change a lot, and do you have any idea? What do you think?
Statistics as far as women purchasing power, or?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, demographics, age, obviously gender, but do you see it changing real estate and first-time home buyership in the next year or 5 years at all, do you think?
So that's a great question, Stephanie. What I'm seeing with the data now with COVID, it has impacted women overall because women are the primary caretakers. So we're seeing that there's been a decrease of women not working. Some of them opted out to come home and be able to take care of their smaller children. That's been one thing that I have seen, and I've read on several articles that COVID has impacted women, some in the workforce as well, and being self-employed. So they're saying about 1 in 6 businesses, small businesses, will be permanently shutting down their companies. So it has impacted, COVID has impacted the economy, especially with a high unemployment rate. So overall, just on the high unemployment rate, which is like a record, we are going to see a lapse going in the future. But with that, women are outpacing men with education. So some will be impacted, some not. I will say at least 10 to 20% of the population, you're going to see not really come back from COVID in a great way because their businesses were impacted. Will that affect real estate? Not right now, but possibly within a year to 2, it can. We might see a decrease in sale prices, possibly, but I think COVID has really made us a little bit more efficient too, which is crazy. Who knew now we were going to be doing virtual events? So I think people are going to be a lot more selective on how they spend their time. their resources and energy. We're going to be a lot more safe in a space. So as a realtor, for example, Stephanie, you're going to be a lot more selective on, okay, I'm definitely doing a virtual open house, which maybe wasn't always part of your plan in the past. I'm going to be doing open houses by appointment possibly, or maybe you're going to be doing open houses one day out of the week and just be really particular on your time and effort. Also, the lenders are going to be the same way. You're going to want to pre-qual the borrower right away, and then a lot of the meetings might be now with Zoom. You might be interviewing and doing your listing presentations on social media or on Zoom or WebEx, go-to meetings. So we're going to depend on technology a lot more than we ever have. Your e-documents, everything's going to be electronically signed. We are going to engage probably a little bit less in person because we're going to be safe until we have a vaccine. So I do see COVID actually enhancing and deterring us in many ways. We're going to be, I tell everyone I'm a millennial now because I'm living off social media and using technology like I've never, ever used it before. So Stephanie, I would say, yes, we're going to be a lot more dependent on technology. We're going to be more dependent on video conferencing like we are now. You're going to be doing a lot more virtual open houses. More than ever, that was not part of your business. So we're going to be a little bit more strategic in that sense. And believe it or not, we're going to be more efficient. So good things have come out of COVID and bad things have come out of COVID. And the worst definitely is that we don't have a vaccine and the numbers are still not decreasing with level of people getting infected and then those that are partying as well. It's just horrible, and it's just not good. But we are also, as humans, we endure, we learn, and we grow. So it was a great question. I just see that we're going to be a little bit more efficient with our time and with technology. We'll see some type of movement maybe 1 to 2 years from now, and definitely we're going to see it impact more the self-employed aspect of people. So I hope that answered your question, Stephanie.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks, Vanessa.
You're welcome. Anyone else out there? All right, Stephanie, well, I am done. So if you have any comments or closing comments that you'd like to do on behalf of Arcadia Board of Realtors, I want to say thank you, ladies, for joining me today, and gentlemen. Thank you, Stephanie, for the opportunity, and also Arcadia Board of Realtors. Please be safe, stay well and healthy, and more importantly, sane out there, and keep doing your business. Keep thriving, keep being successful, and thank you for joining me today in the morning. Stephanie, back to you.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. That was really wonderful, super insightful, and we just really appreciate your time with us this morning. We thank you all for all those who attended, and we thank you for joining us as well. And we hope that everyone has a great start to the rest of their week. Enjoy and have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.